guys, Rob from Royal Walls. I'm standing here now with my newly imported rack from China. I've been planning an upgrade to the snake room for some time now. I've got a number of snakes that are outgrowing their tubs, a couple of Borneo shock-tail pythons, and some of my larger breeder females are starting to outgrow the tubs that they're in. So we have an upgrade. This is a significant upgrade from the tubs that they used to be in. This is a 40 by 80 system, and it's 2 by 8, and it's going to replace these 35 by 45 tubs, and I have 2 5-high racks there, so I'm replacing 10 tubs with 16 of these tubs, so both a significant size upgrade and also a capacity upgrade. There's plenty of videos out there about making your own racks, and some of the guys out there do an outstanding job. If you have the patience and the skill, you can make your own racks. I've tried and it's not for me. So obviously we can't import racks from the US out here in Malaysia. The shipping costs would be prohibitively expensive. It would cost more to ship them than the racks are actually worth. So working with a friend of mine who also breeds snakes, he highlighted for me a company in China that has just started to build snake racks. These are probably a copy of something. I haven't seen any quite like this, but they are extremely good quality, and as I said, for us here in Malaysia it represents a significant opportunity to bring some quality items in from abroad. There are local manufacturers who are improving all the time, but I thought I would try these racks here because it is very professional. It's very sturdy, as you can see. It's built of steel with quality fittings. It came flat packed and weighs 150 kilos, and each of the individual layers is built up separately, so you can add layers to these racks as you see fit. So I'm just building up the last layer. There are 6 of these very strong metal legs that just screw into the top of the leg underneath. Each of these legs has a bolt which is blind at one end and has an Allen key at the other end. That just screws into the top of that one, which then screws into the top of this one. Nothing could be easier. So we just tighten those up onto the layer underneath. Like so. And the tub runners obviously sit on top of the rails here, but they have to sit underneath a lip in the shelf on the top. So if we just have a quick look at the shelf, this is the next shelf that's going to come up. I'm going to fit on here. You can see it's, again, a quality item, half ventilated, and there are holes drilled in the top here which I'm assuming are for fittings for heat mats, which obviously I don't need here in the tropics, so I didn't order that. But in order to get these things on single-handedly, I had to come up with a little dodge, because these do fit inside the lip at the bottom here, so it's actually quite hard to maneuver them on single-handedly. So what I did they're locked in at the bottom, so I simply zip tied them in place so they don't fall out. If there's two of you doing this, you probably wouldn't need to do that. So I zip tie them on, and then you can simply lift the tray single-handedly. And position it just right. The back on, and now I can simply cut the zip ties at the front, like so. So now the top shelf is on, and for the top shelf there are blinds just to screw onto the nuts at the top, just to make it look nice and neat. Hold everything in place. Tighten these up properly when we're done. And there she is. Very sturdy item. You can see there are quality fittings, despite the fact that this weighs 150 kilos. There are nice wheel fittings there with locks on each of the wheels, so very easy to manoeuvre into position. And once those are locked, this is very stable. This is not going to move anywhere. So very happy with the overall quality. This company is new to exporting, so there were a few issues with the packing, which they corrected immediately. All the instructions were in Chinese, so it's a good job it was fairly straightforward because I couldn't read any of the instructions. And the invoice was also in Chinese. I should stress I paid for these. This is not a paid promotion. I did pay for these racks. So, what do I like about these racks? Well, first of all, it's modular. It's very easy to expand. It's very professional looking. It's very sturdy. It's very robust. I like the quality of the fittings, and the rack system itself is nice and open, so ventilation very important here in the tropics. So it's very important that we have a nice open rack system. And the other thing that I like is the finish. It's a satin black finish, which means that if at any time in the future it starts to look a little bit grubby or gets marked up, I can simply take a Sharpie marker pen and just touch up anything on the racks here that have scratches on them. So very easy to maintain and keep looking nice and clean. The tubs also a nice height, and the rack itself is a nice height. So I've got 8 tubs here, which I can work with very easily. The tubs themselves, nice design. They do have a clear window at the front. I don't know whether you can see that in here. And they also have this lip at the front for sliding in and out. So they do have a back in the front. So we just slide that in. And you can see that slides very, very easily. Very easy to work with. And I did get 2 spare tubs. A couple of the tubs were damaged in transit, they were crushed. And they very quickly replaced those and sent me 2 extra, which was very kind of them. What don't I like about the rack system? Well, the tubs themselves, not a huge fan of clear tubs. I don't think the snakes are comfortable in clear tubs. Because the rack is so open at the back and the sides, it lets a lot of light in. So, not keen on that, but we can work around it. The snake room's very quiet, nobody goes backwards and forwards in there. I can always black out the tubs or put some sort of side pieces on here just to black the tubs out, but I am anticipating that I may have problems. Everybody who keeps ball pythons knows this. When you move ball pythons from one small enclosure into a bigger enclosure, it sometimes unsettles them, they don't feel secure, and they stop eating. So that could potentially be an issue. So whilst I do like the tubs, I'm not a fan of clear tubs. Easy fix. And in fact, the company itself, they were very responsive. They've taken feedback from me, and they're going to be offering very soon a range of dark tubs, which will be just perfect. They are also going to be offering a range of sizes. This design, exactly the same design. They're going to offer boa tubs, which are going to be twice as wide as these, so just 1 tub on each level. And they're going to be offering hatchling racks too, which are already available. I've had a look at them. Very, very tempting. I do have my own hatchling racks, and right now I can't justify, based on the numbers of baby snakes that I'm going to have, I can't justify that, but at some time in the future it might be a good option. So that's something else to look at. And also something else which I don't like is there's some very sharp edges on these metal frames here. Nowhere near as bad as some of the locally made ones that I have in aluminium. These are actually better, but they're still dangerously sharp here, so that's something to watch out for. But overall, very happy with the rack system. I won't be using it immediately because my larger females that I want to move into these racks are breeding at the moment, and I don't want to disturb that. So I'll be moving this into the snake room after the breeding season is finished. As the females lay their eggs, get settled back down, eating again, I can then move them over into these tubs. So this is going to stay somewhere in storage for a little while until I move it into the snake room after the breeding season. So yes, very pleased guys, I like this system.